We should be live. Oh, that's a very sharp pain in my forearm. That's not good. That is really not good. Alright. Yeah, we should be pretty fine. Pretty fine. Everything's gonna be alright. We are live for round 3 here, Lobby A. So it's going to be a fun, very fun time. I'm just going to make sure Ross is aware that I've started mine up. So as per, well, if people weren't aware before, it might be your first time watching this or anything of the sort. We do 15 in this lobby, 15 people in this lobby, 15 people in lobby B. There's also a stream running concurrent with this one. This qualifying is the top 5 teams in the team championship up to this point. Up to the end of week 2. We shouldn't be too far away from having everyone in here, so let's go through the team. So top of the leaderboard, we have Halex. They have Iggy, Devil, and MD racing for them tonight. Okay, so that's 3 very quick drivers there. Devil obviously went after Super GT last week in Trial Mountain, but his tyre wear was the Achilles heel there. Let's see if he's managed to fix that Achilles heel by the time for this one. Also, if you can hear this and you feel I have an issue mic-wise or something like that, or you can't hear me properly, or I'm too loud, let me know so I can adjust it before we start properly. Yeah, second is Project Platypus. They overtook FGR last week. Asador, BX, and Zico on the team this week. So 3 very fast drivers there. Asador might be on the bridge between Lobby A and Lobby B. Thanks, appreciate that. Yeah, but BX and Zico should be comfortably Lobby A. Should be, quite frankly, fighting towards the front of Lobby A as well tonight. And then you've got FGR, who are in 3rd at this point in time in the championship. So you've got Super GT. He's won race 1 and race 2, but unfortunately for him has not had any help from his teammates so far this season. He's hoping that changes tonight. You got Rupee as well, who was in Lobby A last time, and I think the other one is Ryoki, who hasn't managed to make it into Lobby A at any point in this season so far. So he's got to step up his game. He's got to step it up really quickly. Find some form to help out his teammates. And then 4th in the championship, I believe, should be Arix. Well, I'm going to go double check now just to make sure. Hello, Russ. Also, hello, Slim. I saw you in the chat 1 second ago. Also, hello, Otto. I haven't forgot about you guys. Yeah, 4th is Arix, 62 points. And they're driving with Javi, Ben is MK. I will be using those interchangeably all night. And Keplero. Again, a couple of strong drivers there. If Keplero can get himself actually to the point where he should be. Ross is doing qualifying with B, with Lobby B, so he is with Vexed for qualifying. This is going to stay the same all the way up until round 7, in which there will only be a singular lobby, and you'll have to hear my voice and his voice at the same time all day, all night. But yeah, and then he's coming to join me, provided everything goes well in Lobby B. He'll come and join me for the race, like we did in the first week. And then 5th in the championship is Rotikos. Well, it's V2, so Rotikos, Snipes, and I think that is Skyline. Yeah, it is Skyline. the 3 that are driving for V2. The other 5 teams in Lobby B will be Aero GT, Pegasus, Panthera, Falcon, and Cav R. We are expecting to have less people in Lobby A from Lobby A this time, because 12 was insane last week. I don't think we're getting 12 people again. I would be extremely surprised if that's the scenario that plays out. But yeah, we are expecting a large majority of what will be Lobby A to be formed from this lobby, as these guys look to continue, well, to continue chasing a championship and continue chasing a berth for round 7 and 8. And obviously the top 5 teams in the championship get the position then. So I will very quickly rechange these settings. Make sure that these are right. And then I'll let everyone join in and we'll go from there. Yep. Preset 52. Ross, make sure Broomer changes it from 5 to 6, because I originally had that one lobby setting wrong when he saved it. 10. Yep. Okay. Just letting them know. Just gonna let these guys know now. And then also, on that note, starting soon. So we will be going maybe a minute or two after 8 o'clock, not directly on time this time. But from what I'm seeing and hearing, poll should be somewhere in the low 17s. Maybe, I don't know if we'll get a 16. I think 16 might be pushing it. But yeah, we are just waiting on Rupee. Is he gonna join? We're waiting on him. He's the only one not entered now. There you go. Alright, so that's all 16 entered, all 15 entered, so we should be good to go. I'll give him 20 seconds to figure out his settings. But yeah, so round 3, Sardegna B. It's a very narrow track. Well, not necessarily a narrow track, but it's a winding track for this one. Alright, let's go. You've had enough time to sort it out. Alright, we are off and running here in qualifying for round 3. Big gap at the start of the championship up to this point. Helix has had two magnificent team performances up to this point. Javi's going to be the first one out. Got the first box, got himself on the throttle early, so he is going to be out by a decent margin as well. That's good news there for Javi. He's going to be the first one out in qualifying, so we'll stay with him. For those who aren't aware, we'll stay on the first out lap and the first flying lap here as well for the first person out the pits. This time it's Javi. But yeah, so it's just going through the motions in the first minute 20 of this, and we'll figure out what is going to happen from there on out. Javi kicking up a little bit of gravel on the outside of his outlap, of the hill on his outlap there. He goes into sector 3, gets the car a little bit loose as well, so he's going to be glad this wasn't a flying lap because it didn't look too particularly pleasing. But nonetheless, he's got his Huracan and he's got himself on Sardegna, the Italian car at the Italian track, and we are underway for real now. It is the first lap of qualifying here, round 3. Sardegna gonna be the host for this one. Let's see what he can do. He's in sector 1, no touching of the gravel on the outside there. That's a good start, even though he may feel he might have gone slightly too deep on the entrance to 1. Let's see where he's gonna go. I think he's into 4 now as he goes up the hill, one of the first of the hairpins in this lap, and then he goes through the banked corner to the right hand side. Down the hill he goes. Is there going to be much in this for him? He went through sector 1, he's in the middle of sector 2 now. The sector 2 line is at the end here. There's 90 degree to the right hand side up the hill. Kicks up a little bit of gravel. You can see the tyre marks that have been left behind him. BX is the next car up the hill, but we'll focus on Javi for now. Again, just trying to keeping himself as much to the limits as he can without touching any of the outsides, because that is going to end up badly if he does. He touches it on the exit of that chicane there. They head down the hill. We expect the 17s to be as a point for provisional pole, and it's a 17.8. It's a decent marker. BX is an 18.3. Zico is a 17.9. Ben is the next one on the line, 18.6. Knight's 18.3. Look, MZ into the line now is not going to do a good lap. It's 18.7. Skyline 18.9. Devil going to be the first of the big ones to go, and it's not a good time either. It's an 18.7 from him. See, Kepler, Iggy 18.5. Rupee 18.5, but Iggy was quicker. Kepler needs to get something going quickly. 18.0 here for Super GT. So round 1 at qualifying goes in the direction of Javi, which is not the direction I was expecting that to go in. 19.0 for Hasseldorf, 19.0 for Erodicos as well, who's looking to have a better qualifying than he did at Trial Mountain, that's a certain. So, Super GT hasn't had every single point so far this season. Devil had the pole points in the second race. So Super GT has proven that he doesn't need pole to win the races. It would help. He's currently in third. We're currently just going to sit here and see if he's got more time in him. 17.5 there for Javi is a good time. It's starting ahead directly where we think qualifying pole is going to be, and I think that 17.5 is already good enough to make sure that Javi is driving in this lobby for the actual race later on. See if Zico and Super GT have any response to this. Devil 8 is a 17.8, so he does have a response, puts himself into second. Let's see what's going to happen as they go down the straight. Rupee 18.4, Kepler 18.1 up into 5th. Super GT 17.6, and he's only 1.5 tenths shy of Javi now. Ryoki 18.7 and Hasseldorf 18.3, so Hasseldorf finding about 7 tenths as well. Let's see what Javi's doing. He's going to come up the hill. Is this going to be a in lap for him? Yeah, it will be. He's 4 tenths down at the moment, so I assume this is going to be an in lap for our current provisional pole sitter for Lobby A anyway. I would be fairly surprised if Lobby B was able to top this at the moment, but we'll wait and see. They go down. Yep, Javi is going to head straight for the pits. I could imagine Super GT being in a lot of traffic might play the same make the same play here. See what Devil's doing on that matter. It seems like Devil hasn't fixed much of his tyre wear issues coming into this race. He is going to go into the pits. Obviously the tyre wear issues aren't going to matter an awful ton for qualifying. It doesn't look like Zico had a fun time there in the slightest. Lucky for him, it's his outlap. He looks a little bit all over the place right now. 18.1 here for Rupee. That might be good enough to see him into Lobby A later on. For now, it's good enough to see him 6th in this lobby. But he would expect the top 7 at an absolute minimum to make it. But obviously stranger things have happened. Let's see what Zico can do. Capro currently out. Super GT did not improve. He also stayed out, so Super GT is not going to pit. That did not look good in front. I think there was a lot of gravel being kicked up. Not entirely sure who kicked it up. Would assume it would be Iggy, given the fact that Iggy is the car in front. Zico's decided a lot of grass is the way to take through turn 3. He is 2 tenths down. He's definitely going to make it. He's 3 tenths of a second right now, 3.5 tenths of a second off of pole, which should be more than enough to see him calmly through into lobby A. But you would think that after his strong showing last week, he charged down Devil rather quickly. It was almost, well, not really close to Super GT, but we're still on the podium nonetheless. We'd expected a little bit better on some of these laps, especially on this particular lap. Devil is potentially in the way now. Iggy is the car in front, and see what's going on here. Snipes 18-0. Snipes is good enough at this point in time for 5th place. Zico did not improve. 8 tenths of a second down. What is Javi doing as he's going to come down the hill now? We'll see what the plan is for him. A couple of people have gone back to the pits. We do have, what, 2 minutes and 15 seconds left on the clock. That is enough to get out the pits and do one more outlap and then give yourself one last flying lap as well. So we'll see if that's going to be the case. Later on, everyone is currently out on the track. No one's in any sort of space though, apart from Javi, who's got half the track to himself. He isn't going quicker though in this one. You will get this one and potentially another one as well. Here's the next one to the line. Next one to the line, BX. Is there an improvement here for BX? Currently 7 tenths off the back. He is going to improve by 3 tenths. It's good enough for 6th. About 4 thousandths off the back of Snipes. And here comes the cavalry of basically literally anybody else in the lobby. It's not improvement for Snipes. It is an improvement for Iggy. 18-4, 77 for Devil. Not enough to move him any higher, but it is an improvement nonetheless. Cap does an 18-0. That's good enough for 7th. Ryoki 18-4 is only good enough for 11th at this point in time. Viking is not racing, no. Hasseldor is currently 9th. That's the good news for him. We're currently looking at this. Enzine, again, just not really fashioning anything at the moment. Eroticods is going to be the last one over the line at the moment. Skyline also not really fashioning much of an opening. So Happy currently going down the line. Let's see if he's going to improve again. 18-3 is currently pole, yeah. Okay, that's fine. And it's 18-4 there for Javi, so it's not an improvement, but he will get one more shot at this. Who is the next car to the line? The next car to the line is BX. He's got about 17 seconds. He should be able to get over the line for one more if he wants it. It's not going to be an improvement here for BX, so he is going to need one more. Let's see who the next one to the line is. Someone's gone round there. I can't see the next one to the line. Here comes Skyline. Not an improvement. I don't know if Skyline's able to continue on. If it knows, Skyline isn't. 18-1 for Rupee. 75 for Kepler is enough per second. Bender than 18-5. That might not be enough for at all. Hasseldor to the line now. 18-5 is not an improvement. Ryoki also coming to the line. We've got a couple of more. Super GT 75-240. He just about pipped Javi. Unless Javi's going to get a good lap here. Ryoki did not improve. He might be suffering another fate to Lobby B. It wasn't an improvement in the back here either. So, it is Super GT or it is Javi. 1 and 2 currently on the list. Will be starting 1 and 2 and he's got a penalty. He's got a penalty. It wasn't quicker anyway. And that will be another pole for Super GT. 2 of the 3 so far in esports. Denied by Devil last week, not to be denied by Javi this week. And it's as we were from Road Atlanta on week 1. Super GT first. Javi will start alongside him on the front row. But look at that. 17.524, 17.551 is Harry in second, 17.586 is Kepler in third. That is a really good qualifying there for Arix. An incredibly good qualifying for Arix there. Devil in fourth. He's nearly a quarter of a second down. As a whole there. 17.758. Good enough for fourth. Zico 17.9. The last one in the 17. Top 5 almost certainly made it through. If what I was being told is true in the other lobby. Snipes 18.0. He should make it through. BX 18.0 as well. 4,000 split second, 6th and 7th. They should probably start in those positions later on as well. Rupee in 8th. That will be enough. 6/10 back off the lead, but at the very least, Super GT has some Lobby A help for the second time in this season. Now, Asador 18.3, so we know from what we were told that is probably about on par with what we saw with Lobby B's pole time, so Asador should be good. Iggy as well, for that matter, should be good, and Ryoki might as well. I think Henzi and Eroticos and Skyline might be the people that might be suffering here. I think they may all be out of Lobby A. That 18.7 simply not a quick enough time. Iggy might be on the bubble. Interesting. So I wonder what Lobby B looked like then in terms of qualifying times. I know your math is not good, Capel. Did they improve from the 18.3 that was pole time in there at one point? That's what I want to know. Ben seems to think he's pole in Lobby B. That would be agonizing if he is. Okay, so pole is 18.27, so pole will start 9th. In Lobby A then. .381, 382, P2 and 3. So that means that MZ and Eroticos and Skyline are in Lobby B. That is for certain. Just a case of how many more. So, Halex, who were the only team left to have all of the drivers qualify for Lobby A every time, and they've fallen now as well. MZ is in Lobby B. Fluffy and Ben at the exact same time. Oh, okay then. That's interesting. Identical times is going to be on the brink. Oh, that is interesting. But we're just seeing at the moment. Alright, just seeing how long it... Yeah, background music is great. We're just waiting on Ross. I'm sorry for not having exciting commentary here. I'm just looking at the Discord and trying to figure out what is going on. All I know is from what I've been told is that the bottom 3 are gone. almost certainly, from what I've been told. And there you go. There's the that's the grid then. Who won to be a millionaire? So there's the grid set up. So Ben is the final driver in Lobby A. So once again, I think we have 12 that made it from Lobby A, which is insane. Back-to-back weeks where that is the case. Fluffy but missing out. Wow. Okay, so I will end the race here so people can sort themselves out. Well then, that is incredible. That is an incredible turn of events that sees Ben into the final place here in Lobby A, and Fluffy but at the front of Lobby B. Oh, that is an interesting way that's filtered through. I'm just looking through, making sure that I don't have to check anything. Yes, I do. There it is. Knew I had to check something. Hello, Alessandra. So Ahmed's back in here. So Falcon has some representation in this lobby. Chris is in this lobby. We've got a few guys starting to just poke their way through. We've got an Aero driver in here as well. So a couple of the guys in the bottom 5 teams currently in the championship just starting to rear their head a little bit here. Chris has made it for 2 weeks in a row. Owen's made it 2 weeks in a row. Yeah, it's all good, Owen. I've got you. Alright, so let's have a look here. So let's just set up what we can set up at the moment. Someone went for and checked the lap. Okay. Fair enough. I guess that's what was taking so long to get those lobbies set up then, isn't it? The fact that they were identical time, that is absolutely incredible. Alright, let's go. So Super GT, 2 poles from 3. And once again, he's going to be a very, very hard man to stop. It's another one of those where if you get this guy to the front and he doesn't have indeed, for example, if he starts on softs where Javi starts on hard on mediums again, we might be in for a complete rerun of what happened in Road Atlanta. Super GT might be able to go early. Devil should be 4th. That is an incredible top 4, by the way. Javi, Keplero, Devil, Super GT. We've got some massive names in this lobby. Zico is in 5th for Project Platypus. You know, Snipes in 6th. Snipes has been well and truly the surprise package of this entire season for me. Bear in mind, he was essentially nowhere last season. We raced, obviously had season 1 last season. He wasn't anywhere worth noting, that's a certain. 8th is Rupee, and he's now in the top 6 constantly. 9th is Ahmed. There it's Ahmed. 10th is Asador. Where's 11th? 11th is Chris. Chris. Yeah, Pegasus. Pegasus is in the not last in this lobby either. It's Owen, Iggy, Ryoki, Ben. There's the man, the myth, the legend.
Hello.
Hello. I just need to put Owen. Is Owen? Which side of Iggy is Owen? Iggy is the 12th.
Yeah, oh, Iggy had a bad quali then.
No, it's actually the best lap he's done all week. Um,
Wow.
he's just had a bad week.
So we had a bit of an anomaly in qualifying. So Ben in 15th set an identical time to Fluffy Butt, who is 16th, so first in lobby A.
I saw
So,
that.
Yeah, so new rule. If you are in, it will just have to go to the team that is higher in the championship for lobby A, because there's no way of figuring out anything more fair. If they're both in the same lobby, obviously that fixes everything because it's whoever crosses the line first, but we have two separate lobbies and we just can't, timestamp things like that with the time constraints that we have. So that is the executive decision I made. Arix is lucky or potentially unlucky if Ben scores less than 12 points and Fluffy gets 12, but that's the way it is.
Yeah, I don't know when Fluffy set in your qualifying, but Ben set it right at the end of our qualifying. I'm pretty sure.
I think everyone set theirs right at the end as well.
That's interesting, considering nobody at the top especially improved. Like, there was nobody in the top 6 or 7 that improved on their final lap at all in lobby 8. Yeah, it was just everyone was kind of just as it was. There's your share screen, Ross.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, everything was essentially as it was through most of the qualifying. Super GT barely beat out Javi in the end. Javi had an exceptional qualifying lead from the start. Don't know if he was going to be able to go quicker at the end, but he botched it, got a half-second penalty, and basically handed it to Super GT, especially at the end of that final lap. But I don't know if he was ever actually going to improve, and if he was going to improve, I don't know if it was by enough. So I'm sure the guy will tell us later on. But yeah, Arix had an absolute blinder of a qualifying here, apart from Ben.
Yeah, but even he's in this lobby, so it's still all to play for. This is great news for Arix, getting all three in lobby A. Looks like good one for Project Platypus, a pretty bad one for Halix with Mzine going down.
I was about to say, and the final team that had everyone in lobby A through week 1 and week 2 has finally fallen. Mzine was the first one from Halix not make lobby A in
and FGR have 3 in lobby A as well.
Yeah.
Really strong from all of them.
I kind of was surprised with that.
On the bounce back, that's for sure.
Yeah,
but yeah, Ryoki's still pretty close. So P14 to P20 is where Ryoki's time seems to be every week. And he's inched up to the top of that this week.
It's all about making yourself be put in lobby A, and that's what he's done. Now he just needs to get himself on head down, get running, because Super GT is going to need some help. But the good news for him is Devil still shreds his tires, and the other two are very clearly not known how to drive the track very well.
Yeah.
So this is a chance. This is an opportunity for one of these teams to have an extremely good race and put themselves on the map. There is an opportunity here.
Yeah, and we've got 8 teams represented in lobby A out of the 10. So pretty solid from everyone. Looks like 1 for V2, 1 for Pegasus, 1 for Falcon, and 1 for Aero GT.
Yeah, Chris is getting consistently better as well. Last time out, up to 11th
qualifying
this
session
time.
He's doing better and better, that's for sure.
Yep. All right. I put in here saying that that we're starting soon. Broomer had all the settings right before you left him, right? Just making sure.
Yeah, I told him in chat as well, I think.
How confident did that sound? But yeah, all right. So I've got the grid right.
Yeah.
You good to go? Because I'm good to go.
I'm good to go. It looks like the grid's set for lobby B as well, so it looks like Broomer knows what he's doing. After I had to resend the times out for the 3rd week in a row because I got someone's time wrong.
Oh, for God's sake, Ross. All right. Let's go then. I've given them more than enough time. Given them ample time to sort everything out. It's currently past, so makes it a good time for us to get
perfect
up and running. There was 1 spin in qualifying here.
I'm expecting lots of spins at the final corner. I'm throwing it out there. That's my little pre-race prediction.
Really? Okay, so there was a spin at the second sector mark in qualifying. I think it was Skyline. I'm not entirely
he's
sure.
all the way at the back of Lobby B.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Right, so there's 5 red lights. It's lights out, and away we go. Who's going to get the better start? Down toward turn 1 here is not Javi, as he just slips right in behind Super GT. So we head down towards turn 1. Long run down towards turn 1 this time around. It's one of the longest we'll have on this calendar for certain. The Super GT is going to hold it for all the way down there. Almost a little bit of a collision there between Javi and Keplero, and maybe just a jump on Javi's car. But those both survived. They're still in second and third. It's as we were. Now in the middle of the field, everyone is just going through everyone right now. And I think Kazigi, we've had a little bit of contact.
Oh, he saves it. No, he's still going round.
Let's have yeah, he's dropped a few positions. I think that may have been more his teammate than anything else, but I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, the liveries did look very similar, and Ben's a little bit squiggly as well. He's all the way up to 11th, and also Zico up into P4 from 6th at the start, so he had a great start. Chris falling back to the last place, but we're 3 wide into this corner, which doesn't work. Owen's 1 out. Jam Devil's still struggling, has got past Ben at least. But yeah, he's got a long way to go. Our pole sitter from last week having an absolute nightmare first lap.
Yeah, and
same for Ruppy down to 13th as well.
I was about to say, the entirety of the entirety of FGR, they're just starting to have a bad start, apart from Super GT, which again, if you can get Super GT to the front, he's usually hard to beat. And, well, that's probably going to be the case today as well. Javi is on the same tyre as him this time, though, so I don't think it's going to be a case of run away as he did in the first race. That might be a little bit deep there from Javi, though. Into turn 1.
Yeah, these Hurricanes look absolutely insane around here today. P2 and 3 in qualifying, really keeping up with Super GT. Super GT's still less than 8 tenths ahead of them, and we've seen much more dominant showings from Super GT previously. And Zico's still hanging on the back as well. So after Zico, there's BX, who's about 2 seconds back, I'd guess. But yeah, this top 4 really stick it with each other.
Yeah, they've created a little bit of a gap already, and then BX is ahead of everyone else apparently. Going through there, I think we may have actually just split the pack into 3. We're just gonna. Yeah. Oh, that did not look good there from Keplero. Dazzy went up the hill. Zico might have a chance. Nope, Zico isn't going to be able to get it. I'm going to have a look. Iggy's up in the 6th, so Iggy's had a good start here. And
Iggy's the only one who's had a good start though out of his team. So yeah, it's not looking good for Helix at this moment. It's got to be said. P6 in Lobby A is the best result they're going to get tonight, as it stands.
All that does is open the door. It gives everyone else an opportunity. If someone can string a very good team performance together here, they might have a chance at putting themselves on the map, potentially getting, whether it's one of the lower teams, might be able to get themselves into the top 2 or 3 in the actual championship. If it's Project Platypus or if it's FGR, they might be able to hammer that gap a little bit closer, because we've got, what, 3 more races after this before we split into a single lobby.
Yeah, we're approaching the halfway point pretty quickly. Looks like Owen is putting a lot of pressure on Asseldor here. Asseldor having a great qualifying and running in the top 10. So for a tier 2 driver, that's super impressive. On his debut for Project Platypus, was racing for V2 last season, who only got one of their drivers into Lobby A for the very first time. So, yeah, maybe looking to get one over on his previous team.
Potentially. He's going to have to go a long way, though, because Snipes is absolutely on fire right now for V2 and has been since the start of the season. Rupee's managed to break away from that backpack. You can see the 3 at the back, and it doesn't look like MK is having a very nice time there, and they're all going up the hill. But yeah, Rupee is on the back of Devil. Devil is... Well, he's got a long way to come back now, considering he was 4th, was looking to try and make positions on the Eric's boys to potentially have a go at Super GT, but that isn't the case. He's down in 11th. There was a collision there in turn 4, and we all know he's the worst on tyres, as he goes to the inside.
JM Devil's going for the double overtake, and he's actually done it. That is fantastic. Rupee's off track. Looks like Owen was off track as well, just behind. Asseldor's managed to get past JM Devil again, so he's kept 1 position. But yeah, that was an audacious overtake, and then it looked like a bit of an incident behind.
Here comes Asseldor on Snipes, funny enough. Talking about it earlier. Is he going for it? No, he's not. We were talking about earlier where he's trying to get one up on his old team, not getting it this time.
It's insane that they were battling through turn 1 and 2 and still caught the drivers in front.
Also, I think Rupee may have been at fault for the thing between him and Owen. He was definitely on the inside. It looked late, but
he's the big loser as well. He's dropped back to the previous pack of cars.
Yeah, and we still go free. We're still going free battle here for 8th place. Asador has actually got a bit of help there from Devil when it looked like it was a little bit of a punt from behind. It's actually helped him rather than hindered him. As we go down into the chicane here on lap 4, is there going to be anything in this for Asador? There's no slipstream ahead for Snipes because Ahmed in 7th has broken away just a little bit. And same with Iggy and company in front.
Yeah, it looks like Snipes got a much better previous exit to the final corner, and now Asador's under pressure from JM Devil, who's going to try and have another move round him in turn 1. This time he's going around the outside, and he's going to try and hold it round the long way, and he hit the gravel very slightly, and that's just allowed Asador to get past. Oh, and that's let Owen through as well. So another mistake from JM Devil. He's not having a tidy race here at all, and Owen, despite going in the gravel the previous lap, is already back up into P10.
Yeah,
Asador looks like he's lost. He's battling as well with Snipes.
Yeah, and we said it before, right? The whole point is to not compound an error or a mistake with or an unfortunate event with another mistake, and that seemed like Devil's prerogative in this race. Here comes Asador to the inside. A nice little move there, double shimmy, but he's hit the gravel. It's not going to stick.
Snipes on the mediums as well, so this is ruining everyone's strategy behind him because he's doing a pretty good job of keeping them behind. And Asador looks like he's got ahead for now, but he's got a half-second penalty to serve, so he's going to drop behind all these guys when he serves it.
I was about to say he managed to finally make it stick on Snipes, but unfortunately he dragged himself down the line for a penalty. Owen, having a little bit of a snap there.
JM Devil and Owen made a little bit of contact in the final corner, but looks like Asador, with his half-second penalty, is going to get overtaken by every single one of them. So Owen losing to Devil, but he's got that position on Asador. He might have a go under braking at Devil as well. Let's see what happens. Asador sticking his nose in. Ruppy's actually caught back up to these guys super quick as well.
Yeah, Rupee seems to have the pace today. He just needs to make less mistakes. He seems to be slightly erratic at times as well. Snipes having a bit of a mare there on the exit of 3 as they go up the hill again here into the second sector. I want to see if we can find anything at the front, but everyone is fighting here and they're just going to stick with
too much going on.
I want to see what's going on because it doesn't look like an awful lot has changed at the front. Snipes is fighting against Devil. Devil looked to the outside there. Now he's going to switch. He's actually going to switch to the outside nature of the track again. Not going to go at Snipes up the hill, which is probably a smart move for survival instincts point of view. They go up to the top of the hill here in sector 3. That looks a little bit deep there from Devil, but yeah,
he's struggling on these mediums with the pressure that he's facing. But every lap that goes by with these cars behind him is perfect for his strategy and finishing ahead of them at the end of the race because they are going to have to go on the mediums fairly soon when they make their pit stop, and he's just going to drive away from them, surely.
You would think so. It would be a case of how long can he hold Devil and company back, Snipes being. Snipes is going to move to the outside to cover off Devil there. Devil's going to the inside. He's got a better run. Is he going to make it stick? He's still on the inside, but he's not got anything in on Snipes for now, but he's going to go again. Is there another one? He spun him! He's just straight up spun him! That was just
and there's contact with Asador as well.
Yep,
Asador couldn't get out the way in time, and that's promoted Owen to 8th, 9th, and he's now battling JM Devil, who's probably got some... Oh no, he managed to avoid damage somehow with that T-bone. But yeah, that's promoted them both a couple of positions, but that, I think, will be in the steward's room. That was pretty bad.
I think that one's about as cut and dry as you're ever going to get. I think that one, you don't need a second viewing of that one. It goes from bad to worse. The qualifying wasn't good for Halex. The start of the race was somehow even worse, and now their best driver is also going to be in the steward's room for a complete mistake. Just not even getting anything right on Snipes there at all. Laid quite the hit on the medium tyre driver there who was in front of him, and you're not going to have many excuses for that one, as we are actually now going to see what's happening at the front.
So fastest lap belongs to Super GT, 17.777. He's managed to gap Javi by 1.3 at the moment. So that isn't enough to start feeling comfortable at all. They're pretty much lapping the same pace tonight, which is good to see. Keplero is incredibly close behind, and Zico is even closer to him. So these two still in the mix, and the pit strategy is probably going to come into play with the top four to see who comes out where. If anyone tries an undercut when the fuel runs out, we're expecting them to stay out another at least 5 laps, but probably another 7 or 8, to be honest, before they come in and make the first stops.
The interesting part about this, out of all 4 of these drivers, you would expect a strategy-wise to be advantage to Zico with the car. But I don't know if he's close enough to the 2 up front. Yeah, that's it. I don't know how close, if he's close enough to the 2 up front here, which might cause a problem. His race seems to be squarely with Keplero at this point in time. BX is slowly but surely making his way up to this pack. So he's got to get something. So BX has got to try and get himself onto the back of these 2. If he can, then Project Platypus might be able to use a little bit of teamwork to get one of them at the very least onto the podium here, because the front 2 seemingly know what they're doing and starting to drive away just a little bit. Yeah, and you can see the gap starting to increase.
It's an interesting one points-wise at the moment as it stands. We've got Arix P2 and 3 and another driver in the lobby. We got Platypus P4 and 5 with another driver in the lobby. Super GT have 3 in the lobby, but only 1 in the top 8, but he's leading. Then we've got Helix just having a bit of a mare. P6 and P10. And then MZine is currently 2nd in lobby B. Fluffy Butt's winning.
You would expect that. He was right on the edge of A and B. But yeah, Devil must have had something else happen to him, because he dropped down behind Rupee as well. Rupee is right on the back of Owen. And once again, Rupee has decided that he's got pace. He's just not. He's just a little bit error prone at the start of this race. If he can calm that down, he might be able to start making his way through, because he clearly is one of the faster drivers in this lobby.
Yeah, I could see him in the top 5 come the end of the race, but he needs to keep his nose clean from now on. Yeah,
he's got Owen, he's got Ahmed, and he's got Iggy in front of him. So we know for a fact that he's quicker than Iggy, because what we saw in qualifying, it wasn't particularly close either. Rupee, I think, was somewhere in the just shy of the 18.2s, I think. Iggy in the 18.3, 18.4 range. So Rupee definitely has the time. He's got the pace, and he's got a lot of laps left if he wants to get himself into the top 5. I think Super GT might actually be quite thankful with him if he did. And Ryoki's got to start making a move as well. He doesn't seem to be doing an awful lot in this race. Chris is up into 13th, so the Pegasus driver
down in 14th, Ryoki. I'm surprised. I thought he was going to start making progress, but this is quite similar to his pace from round 1.
Yeah, and Snipes to the back, obviously, after what happened between him, Asador, and Devil, and I can't imagine V2 let that one go.
No, but he's not too far off the pace, and he is the only driver on the mediums. So I think he can start making progress. Oh, and Ben's on the mediums as well, so this is good for Ben. Yeah, he's ahead of 4 drivers, and he's on the suboptimal tyre. He's only 3.4 behind Devil on the softs, and we know Devil's been in the wars, but potentially, if Arix could nick a couple of extra points off of Helix, as Ben is the first person into the pits. Wow, this is a really audacious strategy that Ben's pulling in, because we know that he's not good on tyres. So what is he going to do here? Is he going to try and do a massive undercut on the softs?
It's an interesting strategy. If he can get the tyres to go, we know he's not good on them. He's very much notorious for shredding every single bit of tyre life that he can get. So he's coming off the mediums. He's going on to what I could only presumably be 2 sets of softs.
No, he's up and running.
Yeah, he's definitely
I was a bit worried that, because these guys were starting to approach the 3rd sector and he was still in the pits, but it looks alright.
Yeah, he's comfortably fine. Super GT also nowhere near ahead of Javi as he once was. That was 1.9 the last time we checked. It's 1.2 now, so 7 attempts have disappeared in the last couple of laps. It's going Javi's way at the moment. Maybe just swinging back. Let's have a look at... I think it might be a tyre thing more than anything else, but the rears on the Lambo is... It's going to be the rears on the Lambo versus the fronts on the M6. As we continue on, Keplero has dropped off the face of
they've
the earth
completely
compared to
dropped
the top
Cap.
two.
I'm wondering how much Zico is losing time behind Keplero as well. Lapping in the 19s now.
The tyres is not particularly nice looking for Zico here.
Yeah, I'm surprised at that. Oh, well, actually, it's Zico. The Mazda's got good tyres, but we know what Zico's like for driving.
It seems to be a symptom of most of the people that have pace, the tyres do not last.
Yeah.
Which is something those guys will have to work on. It's like, it's all well and good having blistering pace, but as we saw last week, if you have blistering pace and bad tyre wear, you will lose because the people around you are not that much slower and have significantly better tyre wear than you. So you've got to find a balance, and find a balance very quickly into these races, otherwise you are going to struggle.
I'm expecting to see Zico peel into the pits here, because I know he's like super close to Keplero despite the tyre wear, but he's risking a big mistake if he continues to stay out. Well, he is staying out, so what do I know?
He's 5/10. I think Zico will try the next couple of laps to go after Kepler. I think this is just hammer time for the next couple of laps, potentially. They dropped BX. Iggy is 1.7 behind BX. We've had that battle a few times before. Ahmed, Owen is 1.9 off the back of Ahmed, and Rupi is well and truly
still with him,
about to join this battle as well. You got Devil in the background of the shot there. Shame it can't rain because it's just gone very, very dark around here in Sardegna.
It looks misty, doesn't it?
Yeah. I still find it absolutely ridiculous that it can't rain.
I know.
It's just, imagine turning up and it's just rain is disabled in real life.
Maybe we'll get it in GTA in a few years. We'll see. Probably not.
Looks like Rupi had a far better exit out of the back corner there than Owen did as they come down the hill. Into the end of the second sector. Rupi just not close enough to go for it now. If he can get a good exit up the hill, which it looks like he has, he definitely has. He's a lot closer now than he was to Owen a couple of corners ago. Super GT is now into the pits.
Okay, this will be interesting.
We'll see where he comes out. Javi and Keplero have stayed out.
If Super GT comes out in traffic, this is handing the race lead to Javi fairly comfortably. It looks like Owen's coming into the pits as well, so Rupi's not going to get the benefit of the slipstream. He's only got enough fuel to do one more lap, so Owen's got a good chance of getting an undercut here and getting some breathing space, at least from Rupi.
Potentially, but this is also a case of the time we find out whether or not Rupi was being held up, because he's now being released especially for this lap anyway. The tyres are fine. So he could just put one lap of just rubber down, see where he can end up, see how close he can get to Ahmed as well, for that matter. Let's see if anyone else is close. So Zico has dropped quite far off the back of Keplero. Super GT is currently in 11th.
He's all on his own, so this has worked out perfectly. He is on the medium tyres, so obviously they've not got the same pace as the softs, but he is crucially on fresh tyres, and Javi could keep position if he underfuels, because it looks like Super GT's potentially fuel to the end. What do you think?
I don't think he's potentially fuel to the end, but one thing I do know is that Super GT does absolutely love a soft, medium, soft strategy. Javi now into the pits. In comes Keplero and Zico, for that matter. Zico had the most fuel of the three of them. Is anyone going to follow them in? Yep, so in comes Iggy. He's out of fuel. Yep,
so BX doing one more lap. We're going to have to see if any of the other three, Javi, Kep or Zico, refuel less than what Super GT did, then they should get track position on him, especially Javi.
All I'm going to say, yeah, that's true. All I'm going to say is here, I spotted this as they entered the pits, but Ahmed was half a second clear of Rupi in the end. He went into that lap 2.5 seconds clear. So whatever Rupi did on that lap worked. So we'll see where that lies in terms of where Owen is.
Javi's got Super GT as well, quite comfortably in the end.
Yeah,
so Javi has put in maybe 10% less fuel, so he'll be coming in for his final stop before Super GT. But this might have worked out incredibly in Arix's favour here. I think that was the right decision. Get track position. stop Super GT extending a lead and put a bit of pressure on him for maybe the first time this season.
I mean, he did have a small amount of pressure put on him by Devil, but Devil's undoing was his tyre wear. Javi, I don't think, has the same issue. But that's... Well, that's something we're about to find out. Super GT had the pace on him, but it's not by a lot. So this could be a fairly peculiar position here for Super GT. He's got to start putting some lap times down because he has to pull in Javi. But he doesn't want to go too early, because if he goes too early, then he might risk later in the race where Javi might be in a better position then. So we'll see whether or not it comes back. BX is now in the pit. In comes Ahmed, and in comes Chris as well, for that matter. Javi actually just pulled again. 1.9 is a couple attempts from when we were paying attention to it. Kepler is 2.6 seconds. Kepler putting in slightly less fuel than Super GT, so that explains where that gap has come from. Zico roughly about the same distance as he was before. BX, on the other hand, is not. BX is half his gap.
BX the big winner. He's underfueled, and he is short shifting as well. So that is why he could run one lap longer and refuel so much less. He's 1.2 ahead of Owen, who's jumped Iggy.
And Ahmed, for that matter,
and
as well.
Ahmed. So let's have a look at Owen's fuel. I'm guessing it's going to be like 50%. There we go. That's right.
He's gone on to a
and
set
he's on soft, so he's going to be putting some pressure on BX fairly shortly.
So I think we could say that the alternate strategy is what Owen has decided to go to from everyone else. That did not look clean. A little bit of slide there up the hill in his GTR 18, and he's trying to hunt down BX. 7 temps, 6 temps now between the two. Iggy is on mediums and is doing a fairly good job at the moment from where he was before. Ahmed is on softs, so that's an interesting one. We'll see where his strategy is going. Softs for Ben as well, as we saw earlier on.
And he's underfueled to get ahead of JM Devil, so he doesn't have to worry about overtaking him. He can just focus on Ahmed in P8 now.
I'm not sure what happened to Ruby. I guess he's
put in a lot of fuel and put on medium tyres, yeah.
I guess he's just putting a ton of fuel because everyone else has gone shorter, where FGR seemingly have gone longer. Chris is in 12th, so he's recovering this fairly well. 13th for Asseldor needs to... I'm not entirely sure what the hell happened to Asseldor, but something... he got caught up with the Snipes issue, didn't he?
Yeah, there was a big incident for Asseldor. And Snipes, who is now on the soft, catching Asseldor. Then Ryoki is a distant last, but again, the third FGR driver to do the same strategy. They've sacrificed track position for it coming back to them later in the race. That's what their strategy is.
Well, he wouldn't be too disappointed with it, because that's what happened last week. Obviously, the race came back to him. It was lap 31 of 38 at Trail Mountain. He got the lead back, and then he said goodbye, and no one ever saw him again. It could be the case that the same might happen here. He's maybe lost an extra 10th or 2 to Javi in this lap as well. So Javi is extending slightly, or was extending, and is now coming back. Because that gap has just come down just ever so slightly. It was 2 seconds, it's now 1.8. Kepler 3 seconds off the back of that, as per it was before. Zico has now got within, and Kepler made a mistake there on the exit of turn 1, and that is going to open the door here for Zico, because he was outside of a second, then broke the second coming down the straight, and now he's within arm's reach of that Huracan. In third place. If he can make the overtake, his life will be significantly easier. BX is 2.4. He's not really been able to make any ground on his tyre because he's been harassed by Owen.
Yeah, so we got 2 battles going on at the same time. Owen looking really racy behind BX, but Zico has been stuck behind Kepler for the entire race. Kepler making just a little mistake earlier in the lap that allowed Zico to catch up, but just as we say that, Zico made a mistake of his own, going really wide into that tight right-hander uphill, and that is giving Kep basically a nearly 6/10 breathing gap as we head onto the back straight, which would have been Zico's chance to get the overtake done, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen this lap at least anyway.
It's all about the exit now, and it looks like that exit is definitely gone in that Mazda's direction, that's a certain. We know it's got much more speed down the straight line than the Lamborghini. But the Italians at the Italian tracks definitely will know what they're doing, and I can say the Italians this time because Kepler is actually Italian. As he as he holds on to, well, he holds on to the position from Zico. 1/10 splits the two drivers as they go for a battle here before the final podium position. Zico avoiding what happened between Devil and Snipes earlier on. We saw that, well, how not to take that corner earlier on, and
yeah.
We'll see if there's going to be any further overtakes that happen going through turn 4 for the rest of this race.
Looks like Owen's a bit closer to BX this time round. This is potentially ruining Owen's strategy a little bit, getting stuck behind BX, which is a crazy thing to say, but he needs to get the overtake done. It looks like he's having a look, but BX brakes really well, takes the corner beautifully, but Owen might have a chance on the back straight, so we might see a double overtake with Owen and BX, and then Kepler and Zico a little bit further up. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Owen taking the corners beautifully still at the moment.
Will he even wait? It looked like he's got a significantly better one there. He's gone
BX
to the outside.
Not really an overtaking place, but surely this is it now for Owen. He's deep within that slipstream. BX somehow managing to keep track position after
he's got straight line speed.
He's got the straight line speed, and he is a good half second ahead. So that must be very disheartening for Owen, even on the quicker tyre, and with BX making a mistake. But Owen had to back out of it, I suppose.
Yeah, BX needed, for Owen's point of view, BX needed that mistake to come one corner later because it would have opened up the straight for him, but it didn't. It didn't happen when he wanted it, so he's just stuck again. Let's have a look here. Zico still back from Cap. The gap is still roughly about 2.1 at the lead of the race, but that gap from second and third's opened up by about 0.7 of a second because of the fighting. Let's see what else is happening further down. Iggy is in a little world of his own at the moment, about 3 seconds either side. Ahmed in roughly the same position, and Ben is in ninth right now on the soft. They're about halfway through, with Devil right on the back of him. Devil on soft as well, so it's soft M6 versus soft M6. Here comes Devil to the inside. I'm not entirely sure where Ben is going, and Devil is going to take ninth position off of him, and I think Ben might want to reevaluate how he's going to take that corner in future.
Yeah, it looks like Devil actually spooked him a little bit, and then he just got out of position in the braking and went way too deep. But Devil goes too deep himself, but he's already built up a fairly solid 0.8 of a second lead over Ben, so he should be able to start driving away. He's also on the softs, but his softs are in much better condition than Ben's.
Yeah,
which is not a surprise. Ben was the first pitter.
Yeah, he pit significantly prior to Ben, I'm pretty sure. Significantly after Ben, I'm pretty sure. Rupee, 3 seconds either side. They got a few of these that are very much in the run of the world. Asseldor's had a mare. He's dropped further back now.
Somewhere.
Ryoki's probably not having a nice day of it either. So, there's a few teams here that I don't think would be too disappointed with how this is going. Halex are currently 7th and 9th in here, so the gap, the opportunity for a massive points haul over them is disappearing rather quickly.
Yeah, just a little update on Lobby B as well. Fluffy Butt is still winning, so really solid race once again for him for the second week in a row. Mzine is second, so damage limitation, he'd still be contributing a good 10 points for Halix. And Skyline has recovered from his horrible qualifying. He's currently third.
BX is a bit deep again. He is not liking that third to last. He's made a couple of mistakes on consecutive laps there, as Owen is once again unable to take advantage because once again Supra.
The gap is only just starting to close in a little bit. Actually, no, it's widening again. There was a brief 1 second moment where Owen was catching BX.
He might be going for it now.
Deep, and this is giving Owen a great chance around the outside. He's going to have to try something in this infield section to overtake that GR Supra because the straight line speed of that is just silly.
He's gone to the inside here. He's just not got enough alongside to make BX really think about that one. It looked like he
absolutely left the door open there, but still had enough. And Keplero's got a half-second penalty. This is a disaster for Arix in the battle between themselves and Project Platypus. And Keplero's going to definitely lose that position. And it'd be good news for BX as well, who will claw back maybe a second on Keplero.
Yeah, and for once, Zico has finally been... Zico, provided he doesn't make a mistake, will finally be released from the Huracane's grasp, so he might be able to actually have a go at this one now. He's been roughly the same distance behind that Huracan since the dawn of time. And there's the penalty. Is that the penalty mark there in the middle of the corner?
Just after the corner, yeah. Just after the apex. It's very strange.
That's an interesting one, and as a result, it's not going to cost Kepler anywhere near as much time as we thought. He's going to hold on. The Zico is still not by.
I'm wondering if Zico accidentally bump drafted Kep, because he should have got that position, unless he got that corner really wrong.
Not only that, and I think it's mostly because it's in the middle of a corner. You're not really losing anything there. You're not going to do anything. You're already going that kind of speed anyway.
Yeah.
Because you're in the corner. It's a chicane. It's not really the quickest corner on the track. So I'm not too surprised that if it's in the middle of a corner, which is just a wild penalty zone to begin with, that you're not really going to get punished by that penalty zone at all, especially if it's only on half a second penalty. So it could be worse. It could be worse for Kepler. It definitely could be worse for Kepler if Zico's going to take the inside of that corner like that. That's never usually the way you want to take that one.
Yeah, it looks like BX is still defending for his life as we head into the final couple of corners of the lap. So Owen, 0.3 of a second down at the moment, needs to nail this final corner and start reeling BX in on the exit, but BX got a better exit and it's not going to be this lap either. How much fuel has Owen got left? He must be running fairly low. Maybe 3 laps?
The issue they've got is they have a fairly decent Mazda on the back of them who have now joined their fight because they've been fighting so much. So Iggy is now involved in the battle for 5th. He is within a second now, so it's a 3-way fight for that 5th position at the moment. Let's have a very quick look going forward. Still 3/10 between Zico and Kepler. Nothing really changed at the front either, so we are as we were through the first 24 laps of this race. Then you got Owen and BX driving as well. Iggy's just in and out of that second, so he's just biding his time more than anything at the moment. I think Ahmed 3.5 seconds
even
further
catching
back.
Him. He was a little bit further back before, so Ahmed we can't rule him out basically in this battle between BX and Iggy, and especially with Owen, who has to go on the mediums at the end.
Yeah. Let's see. Owen might be
going
going
for it the side by
now.
side. This is exactly what he has to do. Get BX out of position going in through these final corners to get close enough. He's a 10th behind. He needs to nail this final corner. We see BX getting a better exit every single time. Owen is super close now. The closest that he's ever been. He's getting closer. He's got the slipstream finally on BX. But he's going to pull outside of the slipstream. He's going to try and go around the outside. This isn't going to work, I don't think. He's going to have to chuck it down the inside, but he's committed to the outside, braking late, trying to get BX off position. He's just curved it, but kept the position again. And this is bringing Iggy right into it. He's less than 4/10 behind Owen now.
Yeah, and I think the mistake Owen made there is in the second to last corner, he hit the back of BX and it kind of unsettled BX, but it also unsettled him. So it's a double-edged sword again. Here comes to the inside. Can he get it done this time? No, it doesn't look like he's enough alongside again, and BX is defending for his life as he is currently holding on to 5th. Biggie is well and truly in this fight now. He's getting a front row seat to these two behemoths fighting for 5th. As we go up the hill once again, Iggy has finally got himself involved. Unfortunately for Ahmed, he is he's not catching this fight because he is now absolutely involved in a fight of his own with one certain Devil. And
that was incredibly quick for Devil to catch up. He's lapping in the low 119s, and Ahmed a little bit slower than that at the moment. So yeah, he was quite a way behind Ahmed last time we joined them. So he's really on fire at the moment on these quite worn softs, it's got to be said.
Yeah, and he's just got to get himself through now a couple of people here, Devil, and get himself to a respectable position. Rupee's in 10th. He's going for it now. Devil up into 8th. Made that look easy there into turn 1 on Ahmed. Ahmed didn't even bother to fight that back. We also, Ben pitted. So Ben is at the back. He's got Ryoki for company. That's not good news for his strategy. Is he? Hold on a minute. Is Ben free stopping this?
I think he is, yeah. I think he's just thrown everything away.
Oh, that's a guaranteed 15th. That's a bad strategy.
Well, he's not good on his tyres, so maybe it's the best for him, but there's multiple other BMWs in this lobby not doing that.
That's a bewildering one. There's no way he's reaching the end on his tyres from here. Never in a million years to do half the race on one set of softs.
No.
So yeah, he's got to pit at least one more time. Might even have to be two. Yeah, Asador is on his own. Snipes and Chris will have a battle sooner rather than later, and then Chris and Rupee about 2 seconds away from each other. Chris might be in for his first top 10 in the new season at the very least. I can't remember if he did end top 10 in the last season that we did. But yeah, it's definitely in for his best run. As Iggy is going to the outside of Owen, and he's got it done.
Owen falling backwards now a little bit. Maybe his tyre's going off a bit too much, and yeah, just an easy overtake around the outside for Iggy. Owen didn't look like he fought it that much, actually.
Yeah, I think Owen's just trying to get to the end of his stint now, because Iggy is just sitting in, and now he's got to go after BX. BX is going to be absolutely, well, breathing a sigh of relief right now, the fact that Iggy was there to give him a little bit of breathing room there, as it's 1.3 seconds up on Iggy. Iggy is going to fight Owen for a small while. Zico has dropped off the back of Kepler again, and that battle seems to be over, and I'm not entirely sure what happened here.
Whoa. Super GT's made a mistake somewhere, and it looks like it's on this lap, because he's been lapping in... Well, he did a lap, a 20.9 and a 20 flat, so that's...
Penalties, maybe?
I bet Javi's been in the 18s, though, solidly.
Yeah,
18s and 19s.
I think it was a penalty, yeah.
It must be a few mistakes there for Super GC. Maybe a mistake that caused a penalty. And all of a sudden, this is looking very comfortable for Javi.
In comes Owen.
Owen, yeah, the first one to blink into the pits. He's got to do a medium stint for the rest of the race. So he might get a nice undercut on Iggy and BX and end up in front of them, but he might be mincemeat towards the end of the race on more worn mediums when they'll be on fresh softs, surely.
Yeah, and BX is opening the gap to Iggy again here. Let's have a very quick look down, see if we can find the battle. Snipes and Chris is close, but not quite close enough. Ben got by. We are really a bit starved for battles at the moment. Everyone just over the second away.
Yeah, let's see where Owen came out then.
Let's have a look then. Yeah,
Owen's
Owen
out in 13th. He's got a nice little cushion. I don't think he'll be catching Asador, and he's comfortably ahead of Ben, who's going to be making another pit stop before the end of the race. So, yeah, interesting strategy from the Arix team there for Ben to be doing that. But, yeah, let's see how that pans out. Owen, meanwhile, should have a great chance. Oh! He saved it super well. That was like commentator's curse in action, and because I didn't finish the sentence, he didn't spin.
That was almost mid-sentence. That was almost perfect.
Oh man, my powers, they're just too strong, man. I'm not going to finish my thought now, because I don't want him to...
That literally mid-sentence praising him for what he was doing, and then he almost spinned it straight into the wall. You can see this. You can see the slide for a long time there. It was it must have felt like forever for Owen driving the car. Devil's in the pit now. Let's see where Devil's going to come out in all of this.
Devil is what tires was he on at the start?
Not entirely sure.
If he's on a medium stint now at the end, yeah, I think he was on softs and just got punted all over the place, didn't he? So this is going to be a tough final stint for Devil. There's Owen going through ahead of him. They're going to be on the same fuel, the same tyres. Ben should be catching JM Devil on his softs as well.
Clip that for a shot, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough final stint. I was just about to give Devil some props for starting to recover pretty well, but he's going to be on the mediums now. It's not going to be fun for him for the rest of the race, rejoining in 13th.
He absolutely knows now that he is on... Well, I don't know if he knows he's on the same tyres as Owen, but he should know that Owen is his fight at the moment. They're basically in identical positions going to the end of the race. It depends what Owen turns up in terms of the tyres in this one, because Owen can be good on tyres only when he realistically wants to be. Devil, we know, is not. It is a notorious tyre shredder, and he's only done 2 races. But yeah, we got a couple of... Oh, Chris and Snipes are a bit closer than they were before. It's got within half a second now of the two, or just in with half a second.
Snipes' tyres really struggling. Look, entering puncture territory if he decides to stay out any longer. Devil's left. This is an absolute disaster for Halix. Hey, yeah, Devil is going to score 0 points for Halix today. Iggy is only 6th, and Mzine is fighting away in Lobby B. So we might see a change in championship leaders tonight. Or at the very least, have it incredibly close heading into the halfway point of the first part of the season.
The first half of the elimination phase, I think, is the best way of calling it. That's what I'm going to call it from going forward. Make that a little bit less of a mouthful as we go through the final sector here with Snipes and Chris. So Devil is out. I don't think I'd go quite as far as a new lead, given the fact that they had, I think it was like a 40-something point lead coming into today. That would be one hell of a gap to overturn. Chris is now into the pits, which is interesting. Snipes staying out. Those tyres are probably screaming at him at this point, but Chris is going to take a chance to get a little bit of an undercut on him as well. Rupee 5 seconds ahead, so there may be something in it for Chris and company later on against Rupee. Yeah, disconnect to Devil. Yeah, he's out. Yeah, it was a clear disconnect. Not.
I was wondering if he made a mistake and decided to quit because he was already not doing too good.
I would say I would debate that, but he's already been in about 5 different incidents today, so it's not like
just a fed up situation.
But I think if you're gonna not leave after the first 2 incidents, you'll not leave after one more. You can't damage your race too much by that point. But yeah, you've got Snipes 6.5 behind Rupee, so Rupee's very clearly in a better position than Snipes. Snipes' tyres are, well and truly fallen off the edge of the cliff.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's still out, to be honest. This is going to cost him this lap. The last 2 laps were in the 20s. Not very quick laps, but I think he's trying to hang it out as long as possible to try and do another soft, because he was on the mediums and came in after the half tank finished. And he's staying out again. He's got his strategy all wrong. Starting out on the mediums and on this BMW was not the right call, because these soft tyres cannot last long enough to get him to the pit window.
This is interesting, purely because those tyres could potentially go red this lap. And if that's the case, he isn't making it.
He's flying all over the place, especially on a track like this.
We'll go forward at the moment anyway. So Iggy is closing back in on DX, which means we might actually have a battle to actually watch shortly. But also, Zico is closing back in on... of course, everyone is now going to start closing back in on each other at the same time, so we can't spend time on every battle. Also, Super GT has has closed in that gap on Javi by about half a second, maybe a little bit more actually now. So that is starting to return in the direction of the BMW, so it looked like we might be back on for a late
It's going to be a straight battle to the end, though, because Javi underfueled, but he's got pretty much the same fuel as Super GT now. So Super GT is not really going to be catching him in the pits. We know the BMW is a bit more thirsty on fuel, as we see Ahmed coming in from P7 now. So it'll be interesting to see where he comes out in relation to Owen. But yeah, it's still looking good for Javi at this stage with a 3.6 second lead with 20 laps to go.
Yeah. Okay,
basically, Super GT has to average 0.2 quicker every single lap.
Which is roughly the difference
1/10
they've
even.
been having.
Yeah. So it is possible.
It's doable for Super GT, that's a certain. It's going to be a very interesting one come to the end of this race. So Owen has very clearly beaten GT Ahmed out of this pit, and it's not even close. So GT Ahmed is actually going to get beat out by Ben as well.
Good news for Ben. He's not going to have to worry about Ahmed on the medium tyres. As Chris just out ahead of Snipes, so Snipes finally coming in and coming out of the pits to start his... Is it going to be his final one? Is he on medium, Snipes? No, he's gone on softs again, so he's going to actually try and do 20 laps on the softs. He'll have to be a lot more gentle on the tyres than he was previously.
This is going to be interesting. I don't know if his tyres are going to last that long. He's going to be fighting Chris the entire way. Well, I say that as if he's not going to go to the inside straight away.
Wow.
And that
Great
is a
overtake.
ballsy move, but one he's stuck, and that is a good overtake there by Snipes to the inside.
Without a doubt, the most difficult corner on the track to pull off an overtake. Ben just about saving it from the gravel there.
He's playing with fire a little bit here. Owen
ninth. Owen's still doing pretty solid then, because he is top of the drivers who've made their final pit stop.
Yeah, we're waiting to see where the top 6 make their stops, because Rupee and Asador will be far off the pace of Owen in particular. So we'll see where the top 6 are going to come out when they choose to pit. As that is a very close battle further up. A lot closer than it was the last time we saw it, but once again, Zico is just on the case too soon. Once again.
Yeah, we've been here before, haven't we?
It's just up the hill. You can't make a move up the hill. Not. Oh, kept gone! Kept gone!
Never mind. Zico gets the position anyway, and this is a disaster. It was going so well for Arix. So well. Leading the race, going to get a double podium. BX gets a half second, probably trying to avoid Kep and cutting the final corner. Iggy in the pits anyway. Kep down into 6th now.
Oh, that is a costly time to make a wild error. It didn't even look like it was a forced error. It just wild in that final chicane there by Kep, and he's got rear damage as well.
He's lost about 12 seconds there.
Yeah, that is... he still
Great
has
news
5
for Project
seconds.
Platypus. They've just gained a bucket load of points with Zico and BX overtaking Kep. On track, on pace as well.
I don't know if Halex are too happy with the way that just unfolded. Because apparently things just go from bad to worse for them tonight, because now their closest rivals in the championship have just stepped up another place.
Yeah, they're just slowly rising up the standings at the moment with every couple of laps that pass. Absolutely faultless races so far for Zico and BX, it's got to be said. Asador recovering nicely after his incident, which we might end up seeing in the stewards.
Yeah, he's got a pit still.
Yes. All of them have to pit. Iggy has pit and come out 8th, so he did come out ahead of Owen.
That's for reference to how close it is between Owen and Iggy. And
Iggy stuck behind Asador though. This is why you want 3 drivers in Lobby A. Asador is here to be the rear gunner, to give Iggy all sorts of problems, to give BX and Zico the best chance of keeping their positions ahead of Iggy.
Talking about BX, in comes BX. And we'll see where he comes down to in relation to Iggy and his own teammate. Asador's got a few more laps in him, so he can hold up Iggy if necessary. Out comes BX. He's on soft tyres. He'll be out ahead of his teammate. Comfortably ahead of his teammate. And that is going to be extremely good news if you're BX and if you're Project Platypus. In comes Iggy to the inside at turn 1, and Asador is just going to continue doing the job that he's been set out to do.
Absolutely perfect. Iggy had a look, but Asador was much better on the brakes, and Iggy had to back out of it. And now he's going to be stuck in all these corners unless he decides to go for it. Oh, I nearly had deja vu with Asador, but they are side by side. Asador does have the inside line here, so Iggy's going to have to do it the hard way.
Flashing his way through the corner, and it looked like Asador, if he should close the door. I don't know why he was trying to be so kind.
No, I don't know why he opened the door there. He didn't have to.
He was being too kind there for Iggy, who wasn't really alongside enough to warrant the space, but I'm not sure that
Iggy's got the position. Yeah, he's not gonna
need
another opportunity than that. But crucially, what's the gap between Iggy and BX? It was 1 second before the pit stops.
Now 2.8.
So Asador has done a good job there of holding back Iggy. Now he's going to have to do the same to Owen, who's going to be on fresh mediums, chasing him down. I don't think Owen's going to trouble Iggy and BX with the tyre difference, but he is still there.
The issue for Asador here, if he's really thinking about this, I would actually let Owen go, because at the end of the day, Asador's fight is with Halex. So every point that somebody else might be able to take off a Halex driver is a benefit. Here comes Owen. Yeah, you're right. He got it.
He's got it, but he's deep into turn 1. And he's going to cover it off pretty well there. So good little bit of battling there for Asador, but losing out twice in the space of a lap and a bit there.
Yeah, I was about to say, if you're Asseldor, you don't want to be fighting Owen too much here, because if Owen is able to go after Iggy and does get him, that's an extra position for that's extra points in terms of the gap shortening, because Iggy loses out. It's the Halex driver, and that's the battle that Asseldor needs to be focusing on. How well can he do against Halex, or what can he do to affect Halex? Because he's not really fighting anybody else.
No, let's see what the gap is between Javi and Super GT right now. As Super GT managed to close it to 2 seconds. Yeah, so Super GT on fire at the moment as the tyres are wearing down.
That's Chris in front. We might be drawing blue flags very soon.
Yes. But these guys still have to make the pit stop.
And it looks like that might actually be coming before the blue flag come out. Look at Javi's fuel.
Hopefully Chris knows that so he doesn't waste loads of seconds letting these guys past.
Hopefully Pumpkin or Yannick or someone's got his back here. He's got blue flags. Hopefully he doesn't actually let him go. They're not gonna arrive on the scene quick enough. I don't think they're coming in at the end of this lap. Surely, I don't think they're enough. I don't think they're enough for another lap in here, right? Yep, in comes Javi.
There we go.
Is that the BMW
is Super
behind?
GT's following him as well? Okay.
Okay.
I was wondering if Super GT would stay out a little bit longer to have fresher tyres to attack.
He didn't have the fuel to do so. So 2 seconds almost to the dot between Javi and Super GT coming into the pits, and Zico is going to assume the lead of the race for now.
Yeah, Zico, our race leader for the first time today, with his definitely doing a bit more fuel saving in this second stint compared to the first one, which we all know the Mazda's super good at doing. If you do a little bit of short shifting, he is definitely short shifted there around about 60%. So he's got a 15-second lead over Javi, but his real battle was with Keplero, but Keplero made that big spin as Super GT's just let Ruppy through, has he? What happened there? What has happened there?
Basically, Ruppy came out the pits with a stronger line, and there you go, it's immediately returned back, which I'm not sure why. I think Super GT may just not have had the
gap?
It hasn't done much of anything, because it was already 2.5 when they exited the pits. So it's only 0.3 of a second. We know Super GT is the faster of the two drivers. It is a little bit of a dent. It's 0.3 he probably didn't want to have to catch extra, and potentially that means an extra lap before catching Javi, or potentially overtaking Javi. So a little bit of miscommunication, I think, between the two. And that's, I think, symptomatic of what we've seen so far this season from FGR. A little bit of misfiring, a little bit of this should probably not be happening if we want to win a championship kind of incidents here. But it may, this time in the team beforehand, it's been drivers not making it in appropriately through qualifying and so forth and so forth. As we come through now, it's 2.7 seconds. So the gap is going to come back between Javi and Super GT. Zico is now into the pits. He had 6. I'm not sure if that would be enough. Ruppy is into the pits now as well, which makes the last lap even more confusing. But yeah, Zico on to 44% fuel, 7 seconds behind Super GT, and good luck. That's all I'm going to say to that.
Yeah, I think Zico's a lock for P3. BX is only 3.8 behind, but Zico has been pretty good pace-wise tonight, as they're all going to be on the final soft stint. So we got another chance for a fastest lap. 17.7 is the quickest so far. Iggy, a fair way behind BX at the moment, not really challenging him. And Owen just sticking in there. He's only dropped 3 behind Iggy, despite being on the medium. So he's loving the medium tyres at the moment, Owen.
And he's also overtaken Mr. Spinalot over here.
Yeah, he has, but Kep is on the soft, so Kep has a great chance now. He's come out on fresh tyres to start at least consolidating a P6 for tonight.
Yeah, he dropped down the 7, so he dropped further than we thought he would. He's 8 seconds ahead of Ahmed, so that's the end of dropping any further without a mistake anyway. But yeah, he's got a battle here with Owen coming up. Ruppy on softs, less than half fuel against Ahmed. That should be relatively easy work here for Ruppy. Sooner rather than later anyway, when he actually does catch up. Snipes has gapped Chris, which is not good news for Chris. I'm not entirely sure what happened here, by the way, because that was a close fight, and now it's 17 seconds worth of a gap.
Yeah, Snipes lapping in the 18 solidly, so Chris has had a mistake somewhere, definitely. Oh, he's just lapping in the 20s on the medium, so he's just not good on the medium tyres. That's the takeaway.
Yeah, and Asador there on the softs might be about to make him pay for that as well. So Asador might be going up into the top 11. MK, I think he's just done his final
He's made his
pit
final
stop.
Yeah.
And Ryoki's going to end
he's still
14th
ahead of
and it's being
Ryoki,
blue flagged.
Ryoki's looks like he's made an extra pit stop potentially, or if not, he's just not had good pace.
Now,
because he's going to get lapped on merit here.
This could be fairly interesting. So blue flags means you have to give it up in the next safest place. Do we see a little bit of sportsmanship here? Because
I hope we see sportsmanship and not some foul play.
I think gamesmanship is what I was mainly meaning to say originally.
Sportsmanship, not gamesmanship. Yeah.
If I was Ryoki in this situation and I had to go blue flags with my teammate trying to storm down his opponent, I would be playing the game here. I'd not condoning it, but I'd be playing it.
There's a way of letting a car lap you whilst complying within the rules and costing them a little bit of time.
Of course there is.
There is a legal way of doing that.
Of course.
But there is a fine line between that and ignoring blue flags, backing people up, multiple corners, all that kind of stuff.
As I say, you can get away with it, maybe a sector. You could do a little bit of damage if you do this right. I don't think he might. I was thinking
maybe a corner.
I think you could get away with a little bit more than that, especially in the Sector 3, because it won't be. There's a lot in Sector 3 here where you're not necessarily a lot of straights, not easy to get out the way very quickly. Yeah. If you're looking at this purely from a gamesmanship point of view. But yeah, if my teammate was coming 1.8 seconds down the road from his rival, who is currently in the lead of the race, and they both are essentially in the same situation, I would be playing that, especially if I was about to get lapped. But I don't think Super GT is going to need it, especially with the way he's driving right now.
Yeah.
1.
Yeah, he's only 1.4 behind now. We're still waiting for Javi to get the lapping done, but to be fair, Ryoki is on fresh softs himself, so we know he's got pace. He's not going to get caught super quickly.
It's a case of if I can't get away, when do you pull the trigger on trying to make something happen? And that's
that's
the team game. Go on.
Where's Ahmed?
Overtaken by Ruby very quickly.
Dropped down to 9th because he was ahead of Owen pretty solidly in the first stint, and he's just fallen backwards.
Yeah, went on the mediums, and everyone else is on softs at half fuel, and he doesn't really stand a chance here. Rupee's doing a good job back up to 8th after everything that happened early doors. Didn't go off to a good start, so he'll take a top half finish, I reckon. Well, top half if you're going to include Devil. Because they're only 14 deep in the lobby right now.
I mean, he wasn't really in the top half when he disconnected anyway, so...
But yeah, we're going through. Snipes is going to get Ahmed at some point as well, provided his tyres don't fall off the edge of the cliff. Asador did make Chris pay in the end, so Asador did move up into 11th. Let's see. It could be the potential at the end where Asador starts catching Snipes on Snipes' bad tyres, so...
Yep.
That might open the door for a top 10 finish for all 3 Project Platypus drivers. MK probably going to get Chris as well at some point, given the fact that we still have almost double-figured laps left in this race. So Chris is just going to start plummeting sooner rather than later. He'll probably end 13th if MK gets
One thing's for sure. We've got Project Platypus, FGR, and Arix all taking a huge bite out of Halex's lead tonight. Got no points for Devil. Mzine is currently P1 in Lobby B.
So
I'm not sure what the pit stop situation looks like there, though, because I think Fluffy might have made an extra stop, unless that was a poor strategy choice for him. Yeah, Mzine first, Scotty second, and Wesley third there.
What's the equivalent? It's like first in B is like a 9th, right? Something like that, 8th or 9th here?
Hold on, I can tell you. I can give you a provisional standings here. So Halex 167, 19 points the gap would only be to Platypus.
Okay, so they have essentially over half that gap. So it is a big day.
Yeah, but also FGR 137 and Arix 120. All of them are within touching distance.
And all of a sudden, the gap that Helix had, in other words, they had to just treat this as a buffer round. That's all they can do, because the gap that they had, that they might have been able to have a buffer round later on in terms of maybe 7 or 8, when they're actually going to matter with the double points. They've used it now, which, I mean, they won't be too complaining too much, but I don't think they'll be too happy with the way this one's ended.
No, absolutely. Looks like Snipes was catching Ahmed while we were talking there, but he dropped away a little bit towards the end of the lap.
Yeah, also Kepler got Owen and has cleared him rather quickly here.
Wow.
Okay. Iggy and Kepler, that might become a battle toward the end of this. Kepler's got pace. We know he has.
Kepler's got the pace on Iggy. Absolutely, he can definitely do it. It's just whether he can overtake him when he catches him, because we know that Mazda's good on a straight line.
And I just want to bring back the point here. So they have actually lapped Ryoki. I don't know, we didn't see whether or not anything took place, but it's 1.1 now.
Yeah, 1 second is the gap. Super GT is approaching slipstream territory here as well. We'll have might be seeing some drag races between the Lambo and the BMW, with just, how many laps is that? 16 laps left to go.
Hold on a minute, what are you looking at? 16 laps to go?
Oh no, we got 6 laps to go. Shit.
Also, it's 6 laps and change, because this is the 46th lap. We've done 45.
There we go. So it is a little bit better for Javi, with 0.8 of a gap at the moment, but he is losing time at pretty much every corner to Super GT.
Oh god, you've gone straight to the Capel School of Maths there.
I know, man. Don't associate me with Capel.
Beat you to it, Whack. But yeah, we've got about a second here. So we are essentially in a very similar situation to what we were this time last week. However, it was 7 laps from the end, where Super GT got devil based on the tyre wear last week. Super GT is now
got great tyre wear right now. What does Super GT's look like? A little bit worse, a bit more even across the 4 tyres, but worse on the right.
It's fronts versus rears again on the both cards. So we'll see it again. 0.7 of a second. That gap came down a little bit through turn 1. The dirty air will start to play an effect. So it's a question of, will the Super GT get close enough down to the back straight to make something happen here? Because Javi's not going to let anything go through the infield, through the middle section here of this lap. I'd be very surprised if Javi is overtaken during Sector 2. So it's got to be realistically down the straight, and I would fancy the BMW over the Lambo in a drag race to the line, if I'm honest. So Javi's got to do some defending here. He does whittle the clock, essentially.
Yeah, but remember what Super GT said at the start of the season. He's going to win all 8 races. He's won the first 2.
He's looking for 3.
He's looking for 3. He talked a big game at the start of the season, and so far he's met it. Apart from that is definitely a penalty for Super GT. That might be a race defining penalty. Half a second. I'm surprised that's only half a second, to be honest.
Yeah, I genuinely think you can get half a second with some of the things.
Oh, really? Is that it? I was gonna say you could easily get like a second or 2 in other tracks for the same kind of corner.
I think that's it. I think you could. Oh no! Have to screw up because he's done it 2 in a row.
He's in his head right now. He's probably thinking that he's lost the chance of a win. He went wide again there. He's not concentrating on his lines. Javi's extended by another 0.4 so far this lap. Make that 6 actually, and Super GT is going to drop away at least another half second, but probably more.
He's just sliding for every corner. The tires are going to be boiling right now. They're also dirty because of the grass. So Javi's going to get a good shot here, and we're essentially back to the gap we were before at the start of this pit cycle, and we're now, what, 7 or 8 laps worse off if you're in Super GT's position here. So he's got 4 laps, and this has now gone from needing maybe a 10th, maybe 2/10 a second, lap, sorry, to he needs half a second a lap now.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's got to
A
get
commentator's
something going
cursed
here. 2.3, 2.4, 2.5 down the straight he goes. He's got to get something going. It cost him over a second, that penalty. And
Yeah.
just under 3 with 4 to go.
There is absolutely no better feeling in GT7 than when you are fighting so hard with a driver behind you and they just get a penalty and disappear and you can't even see them anymore. That, like, the relief that you feel when that happens gives you the impetus to, like, just finish super strongly and stop them from catching you back up. So that's what Javi will be feeling right now. Super GT, we know, is a little bit all over the place, especially that previous lap, because the gap shouldn't really be 3 seconds. It should be closer to 2, but he's losing more time to Javi. Javi's absolutely dialed in at the moment, and Super GT might be just thinking about settling for P2 right now.
Yeah, it's almost like the air's just come out of him there with that penalty. And then the mistake at turn 1, because he looks a little bit deflated at this point. With about 3 or 4 to go, he's just not catching up. He's just losing it. And he's also losing time to Zico as a good point of call here.
Zico's absolutely on fire at the moment. The gap was 11 seconds at the start of the lap, so maybe Zico's going for a quicker lap here.
Absolutely no pressure at all in the slightest, Super GT, but you need a second lap. Good luck. Given the fact that qualifying was separated by less than half a tenth, you've not really had much of a difference in terms of quickest lap time throughout this race. Good luck finding an entire second on every single lap and getting the overtake between now and the end of the race. This would have to be one of the greatest 3-lap spells I think I've ever seen to get this one down, to get this one in the books.
Yeah, he's still only closed the gap to 2.9, so yeah, I'm gonna call it. It's over. It's over. Javi is your race winner. He's only got a couple of parade laps left, because I can't see even a driver like Super GT, the fastest guy. I think it's fair to say we've ever seen an ALR. I don't think he could do anything from here.
It could happen. There is still 3 laps to go, or 2 laps and some change. There is the possibility that there is a mistake in here somewhere. That could be the case. They've also got a fight going on here between. I don't know who that was, but I'm not. Someone's having a fight.
There we go. There was someone half a second.
There it is. It's Chris and Ben going through for 12th and 13th. So that's the battle we saw. Eventually, we realized that this was going to happen at some point. Chris is going to potentially hold on for now. They go up the hill. Ben's going to go to the outside. Has to be forced to the outside here. Can he hang it round the outside? No, he cannot. That is extremely well defended. Shut the door as well there by Chris, and forced a mistake there by Ben, and that'll give him a little bit of breathing room. Maybe buy him an extra sector or two. And he just needs to be doing that repeatedly on Ben here, otherwise he's going to struggle to hold that position.
These two fighting for very different things. Ben's trying to contribute to Arex closing the gap at the top, and Chris is trying to drag his team Pegasus close to the top 5. They're not that far away. He is doing pretty well, but we've got the Aero team, Owen's beating him, we've got V2, Snipes is beating him, and we've got Ahmed for Falcon beating him as well. So he'll be hoping for a strong finishing by his teammates in Lobby B to try and catch that up, but he needs to stay ahead of Ben to keep his contribution up to par as well.
Yep, and those two will keep fighting throughout the rest. It is 2.3 as they head on to the last lap. So, if I'm happy, this is going to be the safest lap in one of the safest laps I'll ever drive in his career. No mistakes. This is just get this one home as safely as humanly possible with a half lap left to go. 2.2 seconds. So Super GT did find the rhythm again. It is starting to close in, but it is too little too late. Unless there's a mistake, you can tell Javi's not really pushing the needle anything here. He's just doing what he absolutely has to. He can't afford to go too safe, because if he goes too safe, he might be at risk again from Super GT late. But at the moment, he's doing enough. He's got basically a sector to go. He's got up the hill and then back down the hill. And you see Ben in the foreground there. I don't think Ben's had a nice time. Ben might have dropped off the back of Chris as well. But as we said before, one of the safest laps from Javi. He's not going anywhere near a curb. He's not going anywhere near anything that could potentially damage his hopes of winning. And he won at the Nordschleife at the end of last season. We thought it might be a statement win. And it might be doubled with a statement win here. Down the line he comes, 52 of 52, and Javi is going to win in Sardegna for Arix. Super GT cannot go perfect on the season. He can only go 7 of 8 at best. He's going to have to settle for second. The one mistake there on, I think it was lap 48, sealed the deal there, and Javi is going to be your race winner here. Zico gets the final step of the podium. BX versus Iggy to the line. Drag race. Who's going to win this? It should be the Supra. It will be the Supra. BX beating Iggy to the line.
Less than a tenth of a second between two of the guys with all of the records in ALR. Kepler is going to come home in P6 after his spin. He should have had a podium, to be honest. Owen 7th with for Aero Racing. That is probably going to be enough with what we can see in Lobby B to put Aero into the top 5 ahead of V2.
That's a decent run for them then. Rupi 8th, Ahmed 9th. It's a decent day at the office there. Snipes is going to end 10th. He's not going to be too happy with the way that happened between him and Devil earlier, which contributed massively to his race being as bad as it was. I can't imagine that not being in the studio. That'll all get 11th, so nice contribution to Project Platypus there, as Chris is going against Ben, and Chris is going to beat him out, and Chris is going to end 12th here for Pegasus, so that is a fairly decent result for them.
Yeah, some fantastic racing there by Pegasus. Towards the end, he's just making improvements every week, both in qualifying and in the race. He was 15th in the race last week and 12th this week. So maybe if they can carry on that trajectory, they will be able to challenge for the top 5.
Yeah.
Looks like the fastest lap went to Super GT as well.
Yep. There's a lot that's going on. So Halex's gap just shrunk massively. We've got a 4-way battle for the lead now, somehow, after round 3. Mm-hmm. We've got 3 more to go before we hit the elimination phase, the finish of the elimination phase, and we go down to 5 teams. But that also means that there is a 5th team. That 5th team has to exist somewhere here. And we've got a bunch of teams vying for that position. B2, Aero GT, Falcon, Pegasus, they're all trying to get into the last spot to see themselves into week 7 and 8 and give themselves just a glimmer of hope.
Yeah, so I can tell you, as it stands, that we're on the final lap in Lobby B, but based on where they are at the moment, the battle for P5, Aero GT will have around about 6 points on V2. Make that 4 points, because Scotty just got overtaken by Wesley. Hold on. That's unfortunate for Scotty. He was on for a P2 on his debut there. So yeah, Panthera and Pegasus are just 4 points apart, but they're about 20 points behind Aero and V2. So it looks like we're starting to see a bit of a gap forming. We need to see much better from Pegasus and Panthera. Then there's another gap to Falcon and Kavar at the bottom. Looks like Mzine wins for Halix in Lobby B, so that is another 12 points on the board.
It's best case scenario there. Damage limitations is actually the words I'm going to use. He needed to win that, otherwise you could just see the barrel down the barrel there, where all the teams are just starting to line up Halix. And
oh man, Fluffy Butt ran out of fuel on the line and ended up 5th.
That is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got a lot of racing still to go here. A lot of changes that will still happen, and the calendar is not forgiving either. So we go into Fuji next week, and we know Javi's good on his tires at Fuji. He usually does pretty well there. So we'll see if Super GT can hang with Javi here, or the other way round next week. So Javi winning one for Arix, and finally they can say in a race that actually matters for something that they're not the bride this time. Well, they're not the bridesmaid, sorry. They are the bride, moreover. But yeah, it's they'll take that. Kepler will probably be kicking himself. He probably should have been fancying at the very least 3rd from this race, but he's only done enough for 6th.
Yeah, that would have really closed Arix in to the top 3 if he'd have managed to avoid that spin. Huge swing in favour of Project Platypus, especially with that, and probably kept Project Platypus fully clear of FGR as well. So they've got a lot to thank Kep for.
Yeah. At the end of also the next 3. So if you thought the 2 stops were interesting on this one, right, in terms of the fuel and all that, those tracks were not particularly strong on tire wear. Sardegna, Trial Mountain, and Road Atlanta.
Yeah.
We've got Fuji, which is one of the most tire-intensive tracks on the calendar next week.
Absolutely.
Followed by Kyoto and Lago Maggiore, which are two known tracks to be 2 stops in Monday League. So tires are going to be a significant portion of the race there. So there is still a lot of things that can change and will change over the next 3 weeks before we head into Interlagos and Le Mans, which is just going to be how much fuel can your car have and not die.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, this is going to be exciting. So basically, we're at the halfway point of the qualification round, we can call it, even though it counts for the whole season. But these points are half of what we'll be seeing for the final 2 rounds.
Yeah.
I think the top 4 are pretty much locked on to qualify for the knockouts, the final 2 rounds. So Helix, Project Platypus, FGR, and Arix are going to be your championship contenders. FGR with 2 wins, Arix with 1 win, Project Platypus with no wins, but they're still second anyway. Helix with no wins, and they're still first anyway because they've had the consistency. They've had every driver in Lobby A and finishing pretty well, apart from Mzine tonight, but he won Lobby B, so that's still like the equivalent of a top 10 result in Lobby A for winning Lobby B. So the consistency and the strength and depth Helix have got could put them towards the championship, but potentially not being able to win a race is what might hold them back in those double points and allow them to get caught.
Yeah, and that's it's just going to be a case of, at the end of the day, who's going to show up at the right time, who's getting hot at the perfect time, because Helix started like a house on fire at the blocks, multiple good team performances. And maybe this might just be a sign of what's to come. If you've started too hot and got out too quickly, you might run out of steam at the end. We'll wait and see. But yeah, I think that basically covers everything we've got for you this week. Absolutely incredible race there. It's a lot of drama at the end, both ways. But yeah, we'll see you next week, same time. For Fuji, Lobby A should be fairly interesting for that one and do its tyres. But for now, I'll see you guys in a bit.
Thanks for watching.